Oh, we're running.
Yeah, we're running. Can I ask you, was there a lot of laughs in your house when you were a kid?
Yes, there was. I suppose it was... my mother was a Catholic, an Irish Catholic, so a lot of it... Our humour was crude, basically. And that's what makes me laugh. Bottoms make me laugh. I'm sorry, but, you know, lavatorial humour, I love it. And it comes out of that and being educated by nuns. I mean, it's just... I'm presuming is that a reaction to that and that your body's a little bit, you know, unsavoury in some way. So getting over it was the humour of the house.
And was your dad funny then?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he had a rather black sense of humour. Sort of, you know, proper Birmingham sort of... I can't think of any jokes. He died such a long time ago. But, yeah, it was very sort of down kind of, you know, that kind of humour and sort of black and rather... Yeah, that was Dad. But my mother was more like me.
So it was safe for you to be funny inside your house, definitely?
Oh, yeah, yes, yeah.
And did you perform for your brothers ever, or for your mum?
Yeah, for my family. Yes, I did impersonations. It was that sort of thing. Impersonations of the nuns, impersonations of the other members of the family outside our little house, and people at school, and they liked all that sort of thing. You know, teachers and head teachers. Oh, do that one, do the other. You know.
So you would be that you'd get approval for all of that.
Oh
then,
yes, it was the only thing any of them ever said in my life growing up was she should go on the stage. The nuns were the first people to say she should go on the stage in between thrashings. That's what they said. and my brother, mainly my older brother, he really encouraged me. Said, you know, you should go on the stage. And, you know.
And did you hear that? Did you think, oh, maybe I will then?
Yeah, I did. I used to watch plays and kitchen sink dramas, you know, in the 60s and think I could do that. I know I could do it, yeah. And
were you attracted to comedy when you were growing up? Did you watch comedy on telly?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was mainly, I think it was probably mainly American comedy. Like I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
And the Bilko. And I loved, and, what's the name? The Steptoe and Son. That kind of, I absolutely adore. Yeah. So I'm just trying to think when really little. It really little was Laurel and Hardy and all of that sort of stuff. And cartoons like Tom and Jerry, you know, absolutely loved them.
And did you listen to the radio at all?
Yeah, Round the Horn on Sundays.
Yeah.
And, what was the other one on a Sunday? Beyond Our Ken. All of those with Kenneth Williams. And...
Did you listen to Jimmy Clitheroe ever?
Yes, little Jimmy Clitheroe. I know.
And the Navy Lark, did you?
The Navy Lark. These were all Sundays, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. When you're having your lunch.
Yeah.
That's how I remember it.
Yes.
Sitting around lunch with the radio on.
That's it.
So not talking to each other at all, just eating and laughing and eating and laughing.
Exactly.
And I've gone on to eat and laugh from then till now.
Too. Oh, lovely. Well, that's quite right. It's sort of beat communicating anyway.
Yeah,
really,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Your personality as a kid, do you think you're the same personality now?
Yeah, I think, you know, certain things you grow out of, don't you? I'm not as frightened. I was a frightened kid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And that's why I loved people like Norman Wisdom, that was someone else, because he was kind of frightened of everything, you know. And I loved that, and him sort of having to try and please people. And it's obviously about what I was as a child, trying to please and being scared that I didn't. And, you know, and... what did you ask me?
Are you Norman Wisdom? That's what I asked you.
Am I? That's right. Yes.
You got the same sort of personality is what I'm saying. Can you trace back to when you were a kid and think, yeah, I can see how that's become who I am now?
Yes, I can. Yes, absolutely. I don't feel like there's been any great change. There's been gradual changes. As I say, I'm not as scared of the world or of other people as I was. And then I felt that the way to get love and affection and approval and to be somebody was to make them laugh. So laughter I found it was a great tool and a great protector.
Did you think it was attractive when you got older, when you were a teenager, for instance? Did you think boys might like you because you're funny?
I think it helped me to avoid whether they did or not, somewhere. You know, I think it helped me because they found me funny, and it gave me a place in the group. It gave me. I think some boys that yes, I think that's true. I think I knew it would attract certain. I'm having a hot flush now at the thought of it. Yeah, I think it did. I'm blushing. I think I did use it to attract people, and that has carried on ever since. Yeah, that hasn't changed really.
I think a lot of women that we've spoken to have said that they had to be careful to temper how funny they were around boys who might feel a bit like they're in charge of the jokes and the girls aren't quite so...
Well, no, I didn't do that. I thought those kind of boys I wouldn't want to be with anyway.
Good for
you know what I mean? Yeah. It was boys who were a good audience. I needed that. So if they weren't a good audience, then anybody else.
Anybody else,
Yeah.
exactly. And you've got brothers, so presumably you had somebody to measure up to.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all good so far.
Really good.
Yeah, very good. Well done.
Just wiping the sweat off my moustache.
Excellent.
So, getting the men to be attractive, you see, by saying that.
When you were at secondary school, were you in a gang of girls?
Yes, there was a little group. Generally speaking, whichever year, there was a little group with one very good mate probably going all the way, most of the way through. But yes, a bit of a group, and it was a girls' school.
Ah, okay. So was this still nuns then in the secondary school?
No, this was an ordinary state grammar school.
Okay.
It wasn't a Catholic.
And were you the funniest girl in the group, would you say? I mean, that's hard to answer, I know, but...
I certainly was one of them. There were a couple who were funny, but I suppose I was funny in a different way. You find your own little role, don't you? And I used to shout out in class and do all that sort of stuff, but I made sure that I would shout out in a way that the teachers would find attractive. Just see, attractive again. and not hate me.
Yeah.
You know, so it wasn't like some people would, like to really wind the teachers up, but the teacher absolutely loathed them. I wouldn't do that.
So you're keeping everyone on side. Skilled. Very skilled.
A little sad, but skilled.
It's not at all sad. I think that's very skilled. Did any of the teachers nurture your talent? I mean, did any of them notice that you were funny? Any of them notice that you possibly acting was the thing for you?
No, not since primary school. This awful nun, Sister Patrick, who was absolutely terrified. She was really tall. She beat the hell out of people. I was absolutely terrified. But she was the one. We used to do these in between lessons. She'd suddenly, right, we're having mime. So each person had to go up and do a mime. Well, I loved these days. Well, I can't remember what I did, but I remember doing sort of gossiping women. I was thinking it was absolutely brilliant.
Nothing changed.
No,
yes.
You see. And she said, you should go on the stage. And I thought, God, it was the only compliment I ever got. And I think that I'll never forget that. But no, after I was much happier at grammar school with sort of ordinary people and normal teachers, and kids who lived around where I lived instead of going to a Catholic school in the middle of town and everything. And so, but no, nobody encouraged that.
So what point did you think that this might be a possible career for you to perform?
Once I'd got into nursing.
Okay. You were a nurse?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was because I was expelled from my school. That sounds a bit dramatic, but I was in the sixth form, and the deputy head came to me and said, I want you to give this to your parents. You're not coming back next year. So it was that kind of expelling. It wasn't a proper expelling. I thought, I can't give this to my mother. She will go mad. So I put it in a dustbin and went home and told her I'd reached a momentous decision. I was going to be a nurse because I'd been accepted. I had gone to loads of interviews for things and trying to find out what I should do. I'd never dared think about the theatre because I'd never been.
Had you not?
I've been once. I've been to the amateur theatre with my mother. And I've been once with the school to see Olivier, actually, in Richard III. Meant nothing. We all ate at the back, eating sweets and not looking and leaving early, God forbid. Anyway. And I wanted to be an actress. Anyway. So I ended up in nursing, which was I just found terrifying because I was sort of in the wrong place, really. And I loved it from one point of view. It was great for comedy. The errors that I made and things that went wrong, and I've dined out on them ever since, terrible bloody mess-ups. But I then decided, I can't stay here. I will be here forever. Things were indelibly printed on your laundry bag, and I thought, oh my God. And then the nursing sister on my first ward had been there since she was 17, and she was 67. I thought, quite, no, I can't do this. So I looked up drama in the telephone directory and the British Drama League came up. So I rang up. My mother wanted me to be a nurse, so I didn't want anyone to know. So I rang them up and they said, yes, well, you'll need to go to university. Which they go, nonsense. I said, well, I've only got 4 GCEs they were then. They said, oh, well, you won't be able to go then, will you? That was the end of that conversation. So then my boyfriend was at this is going on.
No, I love that. This is great.
All right. So then my boyfriend was at Manchester Polytechnic, and he said, look, they do drama up here. Why didn't you apply? So I just gave in my notice, and my mother went and had to get my brothers to stand in between me and her when I told her. She hit the roof. May the great God look to me, she'll be in the gutter before she's 20. I was, but it was fine. And, all of that. And then I went up to Manchester and got in there at Manchester Polytechnic School of Theatre. Do you see?